welcome to 12 Days of Famous. I think we're on day 11 of Famous, and I thought today I would share with you some of my favourite tools that I have. Now, I'm not quite Adam Savage. I don't have the amazing array of tools that he has, but I do like watching his tool tip videos, and I thought it'd be fun to share with you some of the things that I frequently go to and why I go to them and so forth, and what I like about them and everything. And I have very limited time because I'm filming this during my lunch break, so because I do work from home at the moment, so I thought I'll quickly jump in after eating my lunch and do a video. So let's just start somewhere. So first things first is I'll mention this like Orbital Sander. Now, I don't know if I have actually used this on camera, but I have used this quite a number of times, and I use it for felting. So, and I think I have mentioned it on the channel at least, but the tutorial that I learnt felting through recommended this technique. It's a little different to your traditional just agitation by your hands sort of technique, or like, you know, rolling the wool or whatever. So when you're doing like felting, wet felting, or any sort of felting, you need to agitate the fibers and they start to connect to it themselves. Like, I think they have little burrs on them and they sort of start to clump and connect in certain ways, and you can manipulate that in all different ways depending on how you manipulate the fibers. Anyway, this does that for you without the need of as much elbow grease. And so I definitely recommend, if you haven't tried one of these, you don't put any pad, like sanding pad, down on it. You just leave it like that, and it just agitates it all for you. So this has been a great tool. It reminds me I'll have to do some felting projects on my channel at some point, because that would be fun to do. Another one that I use a lot for all sorts of things, honestly, and it's looking a little bit rough, honestly, because I think it's melted something on the top of it. But it's this heat gun, and it was so cheap. It wasn't more than $20, somewhere between $20 and $30, I believe it was. And it's great for all sorts of things. I use it a lot for things like embossing powders. That's why I bought it initially, and I love using embossing powders. They look really cool. But also it's good for like drying paint really quickly, or if you need to melt anything and add a bit of heat, like warbler, perfect for that. Anything that requires more heat than you'd get out of like a blow dryer, because this is a heat gun with, like, you would never put this on your skin, hair, or whatever. It's not like a blow dryer. It has a fair bit of heat. You can get stronger ones than this. This is more of a crafter's one, and there's some industrial strength ones that I know a lot of people use for like costume design when they're working with foam and stuff like that. And if I get into that a bit more, I could see myself getting a heavier duty one, but this has done the trick to date. Does it have a brand? It just says Universal Crafts Heat Gun, and it's worked really well for me. This one I haven't played with as much as I would like, but I mean, it's, you know, pretty straightforward. It's a hot tool gun, like a crystal hotfix gun. I think that's how they're referred to, or like a hotfix tool, I think you call them. And it just heats up the hotfix crystals. So I got this from Over the Rainbow, and it works fine. It's perfect for what you want. The hotfix crystals are so much fun to play with. The only reason I haven't played with this a lot is because I don't have a huge array of the crystals. But if you're wanting some really precise crystal application onto fabric, hotfix crystals are so worthwhile looking into, because you can put them on any fabric. So great for costumes and so forth. I do want to use this more in the coming years, and I am so glad that I have it. So I love this one. Something that is not an electric tool or what have you, but still a very important tool in my arsenal, and it's my sculpting tool. So I grabbed a few different ones. I really enjoy having an array of sculpting tools, and I do have some others that I find also helpful. Like I've got some wax carving tools, which I didn't grab out, but I can't show you everything in this video. But the ball tools, if you have nothing else, grab yourself a set of different sized ball tools, I think. These were just on eBay. They were so cheap. They're looking really dirty actually, and I'm ashamed that I need to like clean my tools better, because sometimes I get so swept up in what I'm doing that I forget to clean things and then I exhaust myself, and anyway, I need to clean those. But these are great. I've also been enjoying these silicone tools that I shared recently. They have been working well for me so far. Silicone is staying put, so these do seem to be good, and they have a ball on the end as well. And then you've got the super fine ball tools for like really intricate work. Again, they're just having a ball tool. It's just universally handy for a lot of things. So I just think if you're doing some sculpting, invest. They're not even expensive, but grab yourself some ball tools. In a similar vein, I couldn't do without my pliers. And I have quite an array of pliers that I've gathered over the years. And I just grabbed a few that I in particular really like. I like having a heavy duty pair of cutters. So ones that can hold up to like fence wire and so forth, because some of your finer wire cutters, I have learnt the hard way. I broke a pair of Lindstrom cutters trying to cut some like thick gauge wire, and just because like they're great, but they're not made for like fence wire and so forth, for example. So the Lindstrom tools though, I absolutely love, and if you love wire work, you know, grab yourself a pair of these, like a set of these. I mean, there are other great pliers out there, but if you're looking for a good set of pliers, I do really like the Lindstrom ones. There are though different bonuses of different types of pliers. So I will say that my Lindstrom round nose pliers have a very small round nose on them, so there are times where you want a larger one, and this sort of step up pliers set is really great as well. Like having these, so these are made for creating different size loops, and it's got a flat edge on there to hold the wire in place while you're manipulating it. But this sort of set of wires, and I've totally forgotten what they're called now, but if I can remember, I'll put it across the screen. But these are really great if you do a lot of wire work and you know you want to be able to create different loops and designs and things. Mandrel pliers or something like that, like that's like a mandrel, but these are great, like those as well. And then these are really great pliers. These are split ring pliers, and instead of using jump rings, I've been moving to using split rings, just because jump rings do have the ability to come free of what they're on. If they sort of open a little, they can come off, and I have experienced that. And I'm always looking for ways to make my jewelry and things more structurally sound, and so split rings I use wherever possible because I just feel like they're much stronger and long lasting. So this helps you open them because they're a pain in the ass to put on, and that little I don't know if you can see it from here, but this little notch opens up the split of the ring and then allows you to then feed it onto whatever you're feeding it onto. I still find it tricky even with these, and there may be better split ring pliers than this out there, to be honest. I do find it doesn't grab and move the split ring while it's open very well. So if anyone has any recommendations of split ring pliers that are really good, let me know, because I would definitely get another pair if they were easier to use than these ones. But having a pair of split ring pliers I think is definitely essential if you're going to use them. And then another tool that I almost forgot to mention is my sewing machine. Obviously I make a lot of costumes. I haven't really done as much sewing this year because of the world situation and just not having anywhere to wear costumes and sort of not wanting to put all that effort into a costume when I don't know what size I'll be, because I do yo-yo id size a lot. So I haven't used it a lot for costumes, but I do love it. It's so helpful, and I really like the sewing machine I have, the Brother, because it's easy to use. I was always intimidated by sewing machines before I got that one, and it just makes it really easy to thread up and get used to and use and everything. So I can't recommend that one enough for a beginner sewer like myself. This is new to me, and I have really enjoyed using it. I mean, I've used staple guns though since early days of art school. When I was in high school, I did all the set designs. We were a performing arts school, and I had to stretch the canvases, and these were set size canvases, so like 3, 4, 5 meters long. I can't remember how big they were, but very, very, very big. It took me with a team. I had a team that I looked after when I was doing the sets, and you know, we would have to stretch the canvases, and we'd use one of these babies, not this brand. I think it was an old school, can't kill it staple gun, but I always wanted to have one here, even though I'm not doing a lot of artwork these days. It's more, well, I do a lot of sculpture. I don't know. There's that whole art/craft debate, isn't there? What's referred to as art and what's referred to as craft, and people look down their nose a lot at anything that's referred to as craft, but we won't get into that. But I don't do a lot of the illustration like I used to, just because I had to draw the line somewhere, I suppose. I do miss it, but if you are looking to stretch canvas, this is a must. Or if you're looking to do any upholstery work, these are a must. And I think they're just a handy thing to have for all sorts of things, so I'm glad I have it. Another must for me is scissors, and I in particular love to have a really large set of material scissors like these. Again, I really need to clean these. I'm feeling really bad about my studio equipment now, because like, oh god, over time. I have really enjoyed these Lindcraft scissors though, and I have gone out of my way to repurchase Lindcraft scissors in the past. I'm sure they're just manufactured somewhere else and they put Lindcraft on it. I don't know where else you can get them, unfortunately, because Lindcraft I think is just an Australian store. So sorry to anyone from overseas, but if I'm honest, these have been the best ones I've had so far. If you can't get these, then just look for a really good, large, sharp pair of scissors. They're so handy, especially if you're doing working with fabric or felting. It could be handy. Anything where you need to cut large things, it's very, very handy to have this sort of size pair of scissors. I love these. And equally as important for me is having a set of embroidery scissors. And look, I can't say I'm like sticking to any one certain brand or anything. I do particularly love my unicorn horn ones here though. I think these were Sullivan's. But I think just having a small, petite, sharp pair of scissors, and I constantly have to replace scissors because when you're doing embroidery work, you do need it to be super sharp. As soon as it starts struggling to cut, it's time to move on to a new pair of scissors. I don't usually get rid of the scissors though. I tend to use my like more dull scissors for other craft projects at that point. So I try and keep a pair of scissors, although I don't know that I've been that strict about it, but I try and keep a pair of scissors that is purely for embroidery work, and that way they stay super sharp longer, and then, you know, they move on to other projects when they get a bit dull. This one is new to me, but I think it's such a fun concept, and I've just recently, like today actually, watched a video by Adam Savage where he had a table version of the hot wire cutter. So this is for cutting foam, and the heat goes through the piece of wire and, you know, allows you to sort of cut foam. So if you watched my turning my office chair into a fairy throne video, you've seen me use this. It has other attachments to this sort of longer hot knife thing, and then this one, which I think is more for just sort of making holes and, you know, carving shapes into things. And so this has been a cool little tool. It's got a little stand. I don't love this stand. It's kind of pokey and it doesn't work very well. But having a wire cutter is really cool. The one Adam has is so much better than mine though. So I'm like, oh, that looks so fun. But I want to play with this more. I want to try some different kinds of foam, because I think the foam I had was quite high density, and so cutting through it was going to be challenging regardless. So I did have a bit of a challenging time. It didn't cut as much as I was hoping, I guess. Like, I could cut the main shape of it out with this, but it didn't cut as much as I'd like. But I think there are other types of foam where this works a lot better, and I need to play with that much more. But it is really fun so far, and I have seen them do some amazing things, the hot wire cutter. So if you are cutting foam, maybe look into it, see if it's something that you think would help you. But yeah, I think it can do some fun things, so I'm glad to have it. And much more simple but just as important tool is the utility knife. I have ordered some which I'm waiting to arrive. I think they're called Olfa, I believe. I'll put the name up because I haven't got them yet and I'm just trying to remember the name of them. I was looking into a really good quality utility knife, and I also, when talking about, you know, cutting foam, I've realized that having a strong, sharp knife can be the key between doing something really clever with foam and then having a real struggle with cutting foam. Because I was watching, I've forgotten her name, but there was a cosplayer I watch, and I will try and pop her name on the screen, and she was showing techniques of how to use knives for cutting foam. In fact, I'll try and link that video if I can find it, because I thought it was really helpful, and it made me think, because I had struggled with cutting foam for the chair, even though it was a different type of foam. I thought, you know what, yeah, I need to get a really good utility knife, and perhaps one that I can sharpen if I want to, because I think that'll be a game changer. So that's what I'm looking at doing. This has been fine, but it wasn't fabulous for cutting the foam for my chair. So it's fine for some things, but I want replacement blades or sharpenable blades and things so that I can really keep it sharp and, you know, be able to do what I want with it, I guess. User friendly, I was going to say, but like, you just sort of really want it sharp if you're wanting to get good cuts. Like, obviously this is only going to stay sharp for so long, so that's why I'm going to do that. Alright guys, that's it for me on this video because I have to keep it short. I've got to go back to work. Thank you so much for tuning in. There is one more video coming for 12 Days of Famous. I hope you've been enjoying it. It has been a challenge to do this many videos. It's the first time I've done it. So, you know, if you guys do like it and, you know, are keen for me to do this in future years, definitely hit the thumbs up button or let me know so that I know, because it is a lot to undertake. But if you guys are into it, then, you know, we can do this in the future. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.